Okay, we'll go ahead and get the meeting started. Good evening. Welcome to the March 24th, 2026 meeting of the Escondido City, almost said City Council, Planning Commission. I'll bring this meeting to order. If you could please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If we could get the roll call, please.
Chair Weiler.
Here.
Vice Chair Spear. Commissioner McCarroll.
Here.
Commissioner Jester. Commissioner Stevie. Commissioner Correll. Commissioner Gustafson.
Here.
Moving on to approval of the minutes. Because we only have 3 commissioners, can we still approve the minutes?
My recommendation is to move that until the next meeting when there's a quorum, because we can't.
Okay.
Technically, you can't really vote to approve, even to approve.
Okay. If we could go ahead and move the approval of the minutes to the next Planning Commission meeting. Any written communications or oral communications on items not on the agenda?
None.
Moving on to current business. So tonight is a informational item. That's PL 260005, the General Plan 2025 Housing Element Annual Progress Report. And if we've got staff presentation. Yeah, you know what? Mine doesn't seem like it's working either. I don't hear it.
Checking. Oh, it does work. Awesome. Hello and good evening, Planning Commission. My name is Priscilla Roldan. I am a long-range planner in the Planning Service Area of Development Services, and tonight I'm here to provide a presentation on the 2025 Housing Element Annual Progress Report. But before jumping in, I do just want to mention that there is no action required from you all tonight. The staff's request is to receive and file this presentation. So here's a quick overview of tonight's agenda. Staff will start off with a presentation on the background of the housing element. Then staff will follow with the city's progress towards meeting the Housing Element's Regional Housing Needs Allocation, or RHNA. This number is the amount of housing units that a city may plan for and also aims to build within the planning period. Thereafter, staff will share notable projects approved within the 2025 calendar year, then touch on housing element program implementation progress before concluding with some next steps. So here's some background on the Escondido's housing elements. So the Escondido housing elements lives within the general plan. And the general plan is the city's overarching policy document that sets the vision for how communities will grow and develop in the future. The general plan consists of different chapters that touch on various topics like transportation, land use, safety, and open space. And the 4th chapter of the general plan touches on housing. This is a housing chapter. It's also known as the housing element. And City Council adopted an update to the housing element back in 2021, made an amendment to the housing element in 2023. These changes were in accordance to the California Department of Housing and Community Development's direction, as well as state law, which requires cities to update the housing element every 8 years. Why every 8 years? Well, that's because since 1969, the California Department of Housing and Community Development, also known as HCD, and our Regional Council of Governments, which in our case is the San Diego Association of Governments, or SANDAG, they look at projected population growth, the housing need that's in California, and determine the housing that's needed for or to accommodate the future population. The San Diego region is currently in its 6th cycle of the housing element, beginning in April 2021 and ending in April 2029. And this period is referred to as the housing element planning period. So back in 2020, both HCD and SANDAG worked together to determine how much housing needs to be built to accommodate the future population, and that number was 171,685 housing units. This 171,685 unit number was then distributed among the 19 jurisdictions that make up the San Diego region. So there is 18 jurisdictions along with the county. And the city of Escondido was assigned a total of 9,607 units. The number was then broken down by income level, which includes very low, low, moderate, and above moderate income. When it comes to housing element reporting, only issued building permits count towards meeting the RHNA goal, which is the 9607 that you see on your screen. So residential projects generally go through a permitting process that can be broken down by 3 different milestones or stages. There's the entitlement stage, the building permit issuance stage, as well as the final inspection stage. The entitlement stage is when an applicant comes into the planning service area and submits an application, works with city staff, and staff ensure that the project meets standards. The building issuance stage is when the applicant can move forward with the grading and building of the project itself. And the final building inspection stage is when the city reviews the project to ensure that the project that's constructed meets the approved plans as well as safety standards. If a project reaches the stage 2, which is the building permit issuance stage, then it can be counted towards RHNA. So ever since the beginning of the planning period, the city has tracked progress towards meeting the RHNA. So in year 1, there were a total of 249 units that were issued building permits, and these counted towards a RHNA goal. Year 2, which was 2022, there were 231 units. Year 3, 608. Year 4, 2024, 408, and this last year, year 5, there are a total of 379 units, which equals a total of 1,875. There are also approximately 400 units that have been credited towards our RHNA goal by HCD that may be counted towards this, but for purposes of this report, we're just including the 1875. So this is what the RHNA progress looks like, broken down by percentage and income. So the city has reached a total of 28% of its above moderate objective, 4% of moderate, 17% of low, and 10% of the very low income goal. And overall, the city has achieved a total of 24% of its RHNA goal. Some entitled projects reported in the 2025 annual progress report include the Iscon density bonus subdivision located southwest of Daly Ranch. This project will subdivide into 10 lots, creating 8 market rate single-family units and 2 low-income single-family units. In 2025, some entitled projects also included the city's very first few pre-approved ADU projects, which are a result of city staff's efforts to develop pre-approved plans and streamline the ADU permitting process. And the city also received its first Assembly Bill 2011 project, which proposed a conversion of a existing commercial space and to build 136 units. This project will yield 55 extremely low income units, 21 very low income, 58 low income, and 2 market rate. Overall, most entitled units in 2025 were a majority of multifamily at 69%, followed by ADUs 27%, and single-family units at 4%. In 2025, the city also saw a notable number of previously entitled projects receive building permits. So typically, issued building permits reported as part of the APR include previously entitled projects from a year or 2 years prior, but this year, staff saw subdivision projects from 2015, 17, and 19. This is the main reason why on the pie chart in front of you, you see almost an even split between the different building types. So as you can see, multifamily, single-family units, and ADUs are hovering around 30% each. Some prior subdivisions that have resurfaced into the building permit issuance stage include a 21-unit subdivision from 2015 located east of Harmony Grove, known as Amanda Estates, a 55-lot subdivision approved in 2018 north of Kit Carson Park, known as Sonora Hills, and the Northeast Gateway Project, which was recently approved back in 2023. Multifamily projects that were issued building permits in 2025 include Hacienda de Vega and Canterbury Gardens. So projects that have passed the final building inspection stage include Palomar Heights Apartments, now known as the Marlowe Apartments, which was a 610 mixed-use development approved in 2021. The Dixon Trail project, which is a 64-lot subdivision that I mentioned earlier, and approximately 87 other single-family units from a variety of subdivisions like Amanda Estates and Sonora Hills. Altogether, a majority of projects that passed the final building issuance stage were multifamily units at 61%, followed by single-family units at 27% and ADUs at 12%. When it comes to housing element programming implementation, some of the 2025 staff successes include the launch of the pre-approved ADU program, completion of a $4.5 million request for proposals for affordable housing by the Housing and Neighborhood Services area, and changes to the consolidated plan that were also led by Housing and Neighborhood Services. As part of implementation for the upcoming year, staff will continue to focus efforts on HCD's identified priority programs, which include updates to ordinance, creations of programs, and more. And if you're looking for more information on that, there is a Table D as part of your staff report where you can read more information. So as far as next steps, staff will submit the housing element APR to HCD, the Governor's Office of Land Use and Climate Innovation, and SANDAG by April 1st of this year to maintain compliance with state law. Staff will then present this presentation to City Council on April 8th, and then resubmit to regional and state agencies once again. And in the near future, some of our newest long-range staff will be presenting on the General Plan APR as well as the Climate Action Plan APR. So that concludes staff presentation, and we welcome any questions.
Okay, thank you very much. Oh, now I can hear the speaker. Any questions of staff? No? So the only questions I have is I thought the presentation was excellent and the information contained in the staff report was equally as good. When do we expect that we're going to start the next, the process on the next update to the housing element? So if in 2029 that ends the cycle, do we start in 28 or do we start in 29? And if you don't have that answer, that's okay. It's just a curiosity question.
Yeah, that will definitely be something that will be incorporated into the long-range plan. The state and SANDAG do begin working as early as 2027 to begin that assessment. So it will be also contingent on whatever timelines they have.
Okay, and is the intent to have staff do this new update, or do you think that that'll go out to an outside consultant like I think the last time it went to an outside consultant?
So I'll go ahead and field that question. More than likely, what we have seen over the planning cycles, especially the 5th to 6th cycle, was just a significant departure in state legislation governing housing element law that made it very complicated and complex from past cycles. I anticipate the 7th cycle being not too different. I would imagine we're going to start seeing more and more housing element legislation come through. And so with that information, I would anticipate we will have to bring in subject matter experts through a consultant team to support staff efforts in the update.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. I don't have any other questions. Good job on keeping up to date on this. Anyone else? Doesn't look like it. Okay, thank you. We'll move on. Let's see, we've got future agenda items. Any commissioner want to bring something to a future hearing? None? No oral communications. Planning commissioners reports? None? City planners report.
Yes, so a couple of items. We do anticipate several projects coming down the pipeline over the next 3 to 6 months. Currently, we anticipate some varied long-range projects. That includes the update to the accessory dwelling unit ordinance, a comprehensive update to the city's accessory dwelling unit ordinance, as well as the El Caballo Park Master Plan adoption, recommendation for adoption and environmental review, as well as annual progress reports, as Priscilla noted. In addition, we anticipate private development projects coming through with various subdivisions coming through, as well as larger residential developments with legislative entitlements tied to them. So Planning Commission serving in some role as an advisory body to the council, but also acting as a decision maker on the smaller subdivisions. So there will be probably a very active summer as we navigate through the spring.
Okay, terrific. Anything else from Planning Commission? All right, seeing none, we'll adjourn the meeting.